Hello everyone and welcome to part 1 of the putter only round at the Hollows Disc Golf Course. So to give a little context for the video, this was filmed back on February 16th. At the time, because there were 3 of us, I didn't want to do commentary or shot calling on the course, so I decided to do it all post round, which is why this is taking a while to get out. But we have 3 people playing today. Myself, we have Rusty Chain's founder, Rob Ruskowitz, and my good friend, Fred Lusky. For a little context, Fred usually plays AM1 or Open, depending on the event. Rob plays all MA1, and then I, up to this point, have played all MA2, but this next year, or this season once it starts, I'm going to be moving up to MA1. So that's a little context on us as players, and then basically we are doing a 1 putter challenge on the Hollows Disc Golf Course. So each of us have 1 throwing putter, and then we are allowed to use our putting putters. So I am using 400G PA3, and then I'm putting with PA3s. Rob is going to be using a Opto X Pure and putting with Retro Pures, and then Fred is throwing a Soft Judge, and then he is putting with Wizards. I don't know the plastic. I'm sorry, Fred, but that's what we're each throwing. We're playing the short layout, and there is snow on the ground because this was filmed back in February. So we're going to hop right in. I'm going to be doing some post-round commentary, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so here we go. I am throwing 400G PA3, kind of straight at this basket. It's not a super long hole. None of these holes are particularly very long. I trickled off a little bit left. Fred is up next. Fred is also left-handed, so you actually get to see Rob and I are right-handed. Fred's left-handed, so you get to see both sides. Throws beautiful shot, and I believe he ends up in the circle. Then Rob, I think, is trying to take the same line that Fred just took. Just throws it a little bit low, but it's going to be right in the middle of the fairway with a very easy upshot. He actually has a putt. Looks to be maybe just inside the circle. And for context, this is all of our first time playing with another person on camera. So Rob left that one a little bit low. I am outside the circle. Tried to give it a run. Was a little bit low and right and scooted past it. Fred also leaves it a little bit left. Here's my comeback putt for a par, and left it super low. We're all going to tap in. All of us had a little bit of putting jitters with the camera, but Fred and Rob are going to be even par. I'm going to be 1 over after that first hole. Moving on to hole number 2. Very downhill, really tight technical hole. The basket is kind of straight ahead from the tee pad, so you can either take this line right up the gut. You can kind of take a lefty backhand on the left side or a righty backhand on the right side. I believe Rob is going to be taking that last option of kind of a right-handed hyzer line on the right side. And throws it really, really well. That's going to be nice and close for his birdie putt. I'm taking the same line. And I also get it nice and close. Rob ended up actually a little bit short. He's going to be outside the circle. Hoping to give this a bid, but behind the basket about 20 feet, it does drop off to a ravine. So you don't want to run it super high and risk going back there. So gives it kind of a soft run, but very easy par. I'm in the circle for a birdie putt. And that one feels good. After completely missing the basket and chains on a similar length putt. That one's a good one to make up. And then Fred gets his birdie putt in. Rob with the first selfie putt of the round. So Fred's 1 under, Rob is at even, and I am now back down to even. Moving on to hole number 3. One of the holes that does not change in the long or short position. It's a relatively short hole with probably the most aces on the course. Kind of tough for a lefty, but Fred's throwing this nice understable judge and throws a beautiful anhyzer. You can kind of see the flag is in that cluster of trees. That had the right angle, but I threw this way too hard. So I'm outside the circle long. And Rob's going to try to just put this right in there, right on the lock. Get an easy 2. And he does just that. That's a perfect shot for this hole. So again, I am just outside the circle. And the putt feels definitely a little shaky. As you can see me blow by that. And this is the trickiest part of the screen, is there's a lot of these really big pine trees, and I'm only about 12 to 15 feet away from this basket, and I am using all of my 6'2" frame to stretch out, but unfortunately cannot connect. Fred left that one a little bit low. He's going to tap in for a par. I am tapping in for a bogey. Yeah, pretty much. And then this is Rob tapping in for a birdie. All right, so Fred and Rob are now both at 1 under, and I'm back to over par, 1 over par after that bogey, birdie, bogey start. Hole 4, pretty much straight ahead, and then it trails off to the right. You can kind of see the flag and the basket back there. Rob's going to throw a nice little anhyzer and gets a little bit of a kick, but it's not too bad. It's a great shaping hole for Fred. Throwing that slight hyzer on that putter and letting it just stand up and go right to the basket. I think he's in the circle. Here's my first sidearm, and honestly I liked it out of my hand, but it did come out a little wobbly, so it did flip over and leave me kind of a tough up and down. Rob just has a little chip shot here. And that's going to leave him right on about the edge of the circle, maybe about 20-25 feet. I had, honestly, a really easy just kind of putt it up there, up shot, and I left it really short. So this is a really tricky green, and I jammed that putt, which feels good. That, as you can see, the basket is up on a hill, and it's really easy to just airball it and have a longer comeback putt. So woo! Fred, absolutely deadly with the wizard, jams that one in for a birdie, and Rob is going to get a nice, easy par. So Fred is at 2 down, Rob is at 1 down, and I'm still at 1 over with that par. All right, hole 5. You can't really see the basket from here, but it's up and over this ravine and pretty much straight. Fred's just going to throw that same little hyzer flip. It's a perfect shot. Then Rob is up next. This is a really great hole for a mid-range. So a lot of us are throwing these putters pretty hard and pretty high. Rob gets that to flip up real nice. I think that's going to leave him either in the circle or really close. And then I'm lining up this PA3. What I was finding early on in this round is that this putter is actually more overstable than I thought. So I'm thinking in my head, I have to throw this really hard, which I do, and I throw it right into one of the trees for the gap. And I'm going to have to chip up to get a par. So you can kind of see the basket there by the tree with no bark. And this would be a great shot if I was going to the long pin, but unfortunately we're going to the short pin. So I'm going to be at probably about 50 to 60 feet, right around the same distance as Fred here. And he gives it a great run. It's just a little bit low. Rob is right around circle's edge. So definitely a tester putt, but let's see if he gives it a good bid. All right. It was a really good bid. It was just to the right. So I got a low jump putt here. Kind of have to Anheuser putt it around this tree. And that feels really good. That was probably my best putt of this part, if not the whole round. So that felt really good to pick up that par. Rob had a tricky little straddle putt there, but taps in his bogey with some style. And Fred is just going to tap in a really easy par. So Fred's at 2 under par, Rob's back to even, and I saved my par, so I am at 1 over still. All right, last hole of this part. It's hole 6. This hole is going to be tough to reach with a putter. So it's pretty much straight, and it goes to the left.
Oh, that makes sense. My thumb just goes through it.
Fred threw a really great shot, a nice backhand flex shot. I'm trying to go up the right side. It's a lot more of a poke and pray shot because there's less of an obvious gap, but that's actually a really good shot if I threw it flat. Threw it a little hyzer, so I did hit one of the trees, and I'm about halfway up the fairway. Rob is, I believe, going for the same shot. This is a hole that usually, if I'm playing off the short pad, I'm grabbing a fairway driver or a hard thrown mid-range, so it's pretty tricky. And Rob kind of experiences that poke and pray issue where he threw a really great shot, but he just nicks a tree, so he's kind of off the fairway here. You can see the red flag of the basket kind of in the center of your screen. He's going to throw a little Anheuser around these trees. A little bit too much Anheuser, but since we're playing on snow, that just stops really quick. So he is going to be all set. So I'm trying to throw a little hyzer around this tree. Just a nice soft little hyzer to get it in the green. Yeah. I didn't think that tree was in play, but it was. So now again I have to go kind of a poke and pray shot over here, hit a tree pretty high, and that's going to kick me well into circle 2 for my bogey putt. Fred's got a nice little upshot here with his wizard, and just buttery, he puts it right under the basket. This is my putt for bogey, and I gave it a run, but I had some stuff in my way, so it was a little bit of a tricky putt. Just wanted to make sure I kept it close. Rob here is, I think, just outside the circle. Gives it a run. Leaves himself a little bit of a comebacker, but he's eyeing this one up. Eye of the tiger. Looks like he's ready to just jam it in the basket. And just a little bit right and low. He's gonna tap in. Fred's also gonna tap in. And then there's my tap in. So we're going to finish this part. Fred is 2 under par, Rob is 2 over par, and I'm 3 over par. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for part 2, which will be coming out soon. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to click the like button below and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more content. And until next time, get out and throw. Have a great day, everybody.